If you are an American and think you might have a Canadian ancestor, the first question you need to answer is not, do I qualify? The first question is, can I prove that? And that means building a document chain, one generation at a time, starting with you, going back to your Canadian ancestor. I am Isra Misaghi, a licensed immigration consultant in Canada, and this video is your starting point. Most people who come to me about a Canadian citizenship by descent application already believe they are qualified. The problem is not eligibility, it is proof. You need a chain of documents that connects you through your parents and grandparents to your Canadian ancestor. Every link in that chain needs to be documented. Today I'm going to show you exactly where to find those documents and what you're actually trying to prove at each stage. Before you open a single database, understand the structure of what you're building. A citizenship by descent application requires a chain of documents. That chain runs from you to an ancestor who was a Canadian citizen. For births before December 15, 2025, which covers virtually everyone watching this video, there is no generation limit under Bill C3. You can trace back as many generations as you need, but you need to document every parent-child relationship in this chain. Question: what documents each link? A birth certificate, specifically a long-form birth certificate that names both parents. Every person in this chain needs one. Your birth certificate, your parents' birth certificate, your grandparents' birth certificate, and so on to your Canadian ancestor. That's why the research process is technically a document collection process. You're not just finding names, you're finding records that officially connects one person to the next. Start by mapping out what you already have. Write down every generation between you and your Canadian ancestor. Then identify the gaps. The birth certificate you do not yet have. Those gaps are your research targets. The most common mistake people make is jumping straight to the genealogy database before gathering the documents they already have access to. Start closer before you search further. Step 1. Get your own long-form birth certificate if you do not already have it. In the United States, birth certificates are issued by the state you were born through the state's Vital Records Office. Most states now allow online requests. You want the long-form version, sometimes called a certified copy of the full birth record. The valid size short-form certificate that most Americans have does not list both parents, and it's not sufficient for IRCC's chain of identity requirement. Step 2. Collect your parents' long-form birth certificates. If your parents are living, ask them directly. If they were born in the United States, you request from the State Vital Record Office, from the state where they were born. If a parent was born in Canada, that's a separate process. I will cover Canadian records in a moment. Step 3. You look through every family documents already in your possession or in your family's possession. Old passports, naturalization certificates, immigration papers, marriage certificates, baptism records. These are not replacements for birth certificate, but they can point you in the right direction and filling the gaps in your understanding of your family timeline. Do not skip this step. What you already have in a filing cabinet or a shoebox can save you weeks of searching. Once you have your own generation documented, you need to find records of the Canadian side of the family. This is where most Americans get stuck, because Canadian vital records work differently than US records. In Canada, vital records, births, marriage, deaths are registered at the provincial level, not the federal level. Each province has its own vital record office and its own rules about what's publicly available and how to request it. For recent generations, you request from the Provincial Vital Statistics Office, from the province where that person was born. For example, if your grandmother was born in Ontario, you contact Service Ontario. If she was born in Quebec, you contact the Directeur d'État Civil de Québec. Same for New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and other provinces. Each province has an equivalent office. For older records, great-grandparents born in the late 1800s or early 1900s, many records have been transferred to provincial archives and are accessible online or through archive requests. Library and Archives Canada also holds federal records, including census data, passenger lists, and naturalization records that can help you establish and confirm your ancestors' Canadian identity and citizenship status. The key record that you are looking for on the Canadian side is the proof that your ancestor was a Canadian citizen at the time your relative, the person in the chain, was born. That is the connection the citizenship by descent application required. For most Americans, starting a lineage search, FamilySearch is the right first step for genealogy search. It's free, comprehensive, and its Canadian collections are extensive and has digitalized millions of historical records worldwide. For Canada, it has census records going back to 1850, birth and baptism records, marriage records, death records, and also immigration and naturalization records, many of them indexed and searchable by name. How to use it? Go to familysearch.org and search by your ancestor's name, approximate date of birth, and province or country. Start with what you know and work outward. If you know your grandmother was born in Nova Scotia around 1895, search those parameters. FamilySearch will return matching records from its collections, census entries, baptism records, marriage registrations. That can help you confirm identity and family connections. What FamilySearch gives you is evidence and leads. It's not a replacement for vital records, but it tells you where to look, confirms family relationships, and helps you identify the right province and time period to request official documents for it. Create an account so you can save your search and build a family tree. The tree function helps you attach the source records to the individuals, which is used when you're eventually organizing your documents and building your citizenship package for your IRCC application. FamilySearch will get you far, but it does not have everything. For some family lines or provinces with less digitalized records, you need to go further. Ancestry.com. Ancestry.com is another helpful resource you can use. What Ancestry adds over FamilySearch is depth in certain collections and better indexing for some record types. It also has a larger user community, which means there is a chance another user has already built part of your family tree and attached source records you can review. One practical approach: try FamilySearch first because it's free. If you identify gaps that FamilySearch cannot fill, try Ancestry for those specific records. For records that are not online at all, and some are not, particularly for families from rural Quebec, New Brunswick, or maritime provinces, before civil registration, the next step is contacting provincial archives directly. Most provincial archives have a staff who can help you identify which records exist and how to access them. Some offer paid search services. Finding records is half of the work. Organizing them is the other half. And this is where a lot of people fall apart when it comes to actually submitting the citizenship by descent application. As you gather documents, maintain a simple tracking system. For each person in the chain, record their full name, their date of birth, their relationship to you, place of birth, what documents you obtained, where you obtained them, and what is still outstanding. This does two things. First, it shows you exactly where the chain is complete and where the gaps are. Second, it becomes your organizational backbone of your eventual application. You know exactly what you have and what you need. Keep digital copies of everything. Scan or photograph every document as soon as you receive them. Store copies in more than one place. Official documents requests take time and money. You do not want to request the same official document twice because a copy was lost. For the Canadian records specifically, note which province each document came from and how you obtained it. If you use a genealogy database to identify a record and then requested the official document from the Vital Statistic Office, note both. The genealogy database is your search tool. The official certified copy from the government office is your evidence. What you're building is a documented, sourced chain from you to your Canadian ancestor. When that chain is complete and every link is documented by an official record, you're ready to start finalizing your application. If you do not know where you stand in your claim, or if you want me to assess your file, this is exactly what a consultation is for. The link is in the description. Comment your situation below and subscribe for the rest of Citizenship by Descent series.